Doubutsu here with a review of the Doubutsu Sentai Zyuohger DX Cube Octopus. And this one is a little bit strange because it is about the size of a normal Zyuoh Cube, like Cube Elephant or Cube Tiger and stuff like that. However, it is part of the Cube Weapon series, the Zyuoh Busou Cube Weapon series. But however, this one is big. So, it is the size of a normal Zyuoh Cube, but in the classification of a cube weapon, even though it doesn't really form a weapon, sort of. But anyway, this is an oddball because it came out at the end of the series, but it's just a normal old Zyuoh Cube. It's not like a big one like Cube Whale or anything like that. And if I remember correctly, we haven't really had anything like that other than like movie-related things, and this was in the series and not a movie. So it's a really strange release that we're not really used to in the Sentai series, but it's a pretty cool one nonetheless. This was released in November 2016 for about 2,800 yen or so, give or take, depending on when and where you picked it up. So without further ado, let's make this monstrosity and see what's inside. Alright, so here we are with Cube Octopus, and it's a little bit weird because unfortunately he isn't the same size as the normal cubes. I've got Condor here that I'm going to use for sampling purposes later, but there, you can see that they aren't exactly the same size. Cube Octopus is a little bit taller, and I assume that's because of just the way that they had to engineer all the little helmet parts and the legs and the twirlies and all that stuff. I assume they needed to make it a little bit bigger. So this brings about a couple of issues when you're trying to use him in stacks, because like you can take Condor and Octopus and to the legs of Wild Zyuoh Dodeka King. What? Wild Tosai Dodeka King. Yeah, there we go. We nailed it. But yeah. So, if you use him as legs, that's fine, but this one is higher, and so he ends up having, like, a little limp. So it's a little bit of a pain. You can't really use this one to add on to any of the combinations. So it's a little bit of a bummer in that regard, but we'll go ahead and move Cube Condor out of the way for now. But he's got a nice, cool question mark design going on there. I kind of wish he was the color of Cube Kirin because of obvious Mario reasons, but biases aside, it is a nice green color for sure. Cube Elephant, despite belonging to a green Ranger, is mostly black, so it doesn't really off-put on your shelf or anything like that. It fits in pretty well. So as you can see, he's got a bunch of hinges down here, so he sits. He might actually be about the same height as an actual Zyuoh Cube. Yeah, he is, actually. If you take away the hinges, he's about the same height as the actual Zyuoh Cube. So the actual issue here is the hinges that he needs for his legs. That's really what we're getting the height issue from. But in this mode, he doesn't do a darn thing because it's a cube, but you can go ahead and take those down. And there you go. There is Cube Octopus just kind of laying flat. And yeah, his head does spin because he's got a rotation gimmick that if you wind him up and lift him up, he'll start spinning. Ooh. Which I adore. This is a very similar gimmick to the Taco Candroid from Kamen Rider O's, who was a squid, I think. No, he was an octopus. I don't remember Japanese terms. But, yeah, so it's a very similar gimmick to that. In fact, he himself is a very similar thing to the Taco Candroid. But, just like that toy, you can also straighten the legs out, and he can stand straight up, just like that. Which is arguably a much better way of displaying him than having him just splayed out. There we go. On your desk or shelf or whatever it may be. So really cool. I dig him a lot. He's got some nice black details throughout here. I love the head. The head is great. He looks angry and menacing. He's got the iconic little snout that they always put on these creatures to shoot out the ink and all that. And some nice gold throughout the head crest up here. So really, really cool. And you can spin his head around all crazy. And the spinning gimmick does work like this too. Albeit not that well because of the weight, but you can kind of pretend he's like swimming along or something like that. And there, watch his head go. Watch it go. There's like a very non-thrilling version of like spin the bottle, spin the cube octopus. So that is it for the actual cube animal mode, and of course it does have combinations with Zyuoh King, and only Zyuoh King, and I will show that off in a second. But first, we need Zyuoh King. Thankfully, I got him right here. All we really need to do is take off the big king sword. That's all we actually need to do, and I forgot to flip him around. Good enough. That's really all we need to do. You can take the sword out if you want to, but it is not necessary for this. In terms of Cube Octopus, all you simply do is take off this upper portion of his head, like basically his brain, and this will plug right back in here. There are tabs right here and then clips right here that I don't think were used for anything really, because they fall right in there. They kind of raise up and sit in this little groove, which is really all they did before now. So we take those and we just push them in place, as my voice goes, and straighten out the legs. Not like that. Don't do that. Straighten them out like that, and now we have this big propeller system on his back. We take this part, flip it up to reveal a cool Viking head. I love that design. I love it. And that will plug right into these clips right up here, just like that. And now we have Zyuoh King Octopus, which is very, very much a non-creative name. But hey, it is what it is. I love the way this looks. It adds an extra Zyuoh Cube to Zyuoh King, so now it's a 4-component combiner, and I like it a lot. It is definitely kind of weird to have like the sudden shift from red to green up on the head there, but I absolutely love the head sculpt. I think it's great. It just looks like a powerful Viking, and it's really, really cool. I like it a lot. And then on here, if you can kind of see him, you can kind of see him right there. These are all little missile pods in the show, so he spins like this, and the little missiles start firing out of the corners of his shoulders in some sort of like weird barrage attack, and I like that quite a bit. And of course, the spinning gimmick is still there. If we go ahead and wind it up, don't get your finger caught in there. Until you start hearing the clicks, that means it's done. It's like the ding of an oven, you know the turkey's done. You let it go, and just kind of sit back, and it will start picking up speed as it goes. And there you go. And it lasts a fairly decent amount of time, actually. So it looks really cool. I like that a lot. And as it's doing that, if you want to try to use it as a helicopter, you can pretend he's like helicoptering around and all that stuff. So really cool. I love this design a lot, but unfortunately it is restricted to only being compatible with Cube Eagle. So like I said, the reason why I brought this guy in was because this is the same mold as Cube Gorilla, and it was easier for me to just grab Condor instead of Gorilla. But as you can see, there's no real place to get these clips going, and unfortunately it just doesn't really work. No matter where you try to put him, he just doesn't really fit anywhere. You can kind of pin it like this if you use like tape or something. That's not horrible, but again, the clips right here are facing the wrong direction for these clips right here, and then you have this clip right here that will get in the way anyway. So it just doesn't really work. And if you take the helmet even, because the helmet has some clips up on the top, it doesn't particularly work here either. So there's nowhere for like the whole thing to plug in. So really, it is only compatible with Cube Eagle, and unfortunately, Condor is a repaint. Well, I say unfortunately loosely because I liked that a lot. But unfortunately, Condor is a remold of Gorilla and not Eagle. So we really only have this one body up here to use Octopus with. So unless he gets an orange repaint somewhere down the line, which I don't see happening for Zyuoh Bird, this is what we're stuck with. So Cube Octopus falls in this really weird gray area, and I'm not really sure where to put it. I like it a lot, and the form that it makes with Zyuoh King Octopus, is actually really cool looking. I like it a lot. I think the little propeller system going on the back looks really cool, and in the show it uses that barrage attack that's really neat. And the head, I just really, really love the head design on that. And adding an additional component to the short little Zyuoh King is definitely really cool as well. However, only being compatible with Zyuoh King makes this toy incredibly limited in a line that has had a ton of playability and mix and match capabilities, and that's what kind of gets me. In a line full of mix and match, you have this cube that is only compatible with one other cube body, and it kind of limits things a lot. I really wish there was a way to make this compatible with Zyuoh Wild or even Tosai Zyuoh or something like that, just to kind of spice things up a bit. And of course, it doesn't work in any of the combinations. There's nowhere to really plug it in Wild Tosai Dodeca King or Wild Tosai King. So you're kind of stuck with just a little octopus hanging out with a condor and having buddy cop adventures. It's really what it boils down to. So it's a severely limited toy that I like a lot, and it's a really hard recommendation because, like I said, it is incredibly limited, but it is in the show. It is a canon Zyuoh Cube, so it's one of those things you kind of have to pick up if you want a full collection, but playability is definitely limited, so keep that in mind. So let me know what you think of this guy in the comments below. Is he worth it? Is he not worth it? Let me know. But that about does it for this review. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a cool review like this one. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care and have a great one. Bye.